my name is Katrina. In today's lesson, we are going to share how to learn Chinese as a beginner. A lot of my students ask me the same questions again and again. Today I'm going to share my answers to all of you. The first thing is the tones, okay? The tone sounds very confusing because there are 5 tones including the neutral tone. So how do they remember the tones, okay? Well, my suggestion is try as much as you can to remember the tone. Of course, repetition is the must. You have to listen to the MP3 or listen to the CD and again, and you have to use the word that you learned a lot in your daily life, okay? And sometimes when you speak, you forget about the tone, which is okay, because maybe in my previous videos I mentioned that if you forget the tone of the words, but you're speaking a sentence, like for example, I want to eat, 我要吃饭, but you forget a tone of 吃饭, I think that's okay because you're speaking a sentence. In a sentence, people get what you say because they have other clues. For example, you have 我要, okay? So probably people might guessing you want something, and 吃饭, maybe you say 吃饭 or something like that. If it's not too far away from the original sound, I think people can kind of guess what you're saying. So what I'm trying to say is tone is important, of course. Repetition is a must, but I think don't worry about that too much if you forget about the tones. And as a beginner, repetition is very important. So listen to the MP3 repetition and use as much as you can. Alright? That's the first answer to the first question. And the second question, a lot of my students ask me that, Katrina, I think that sometimes to understand what you say, your explanation in class is not a challenge, but the real challenge is all the sounds of Chinese, they are very new to me. How do I stick those sounds to my brain? Well, same answer. Repetition. Yes, some vocabulary, they are very easy. For example, 沙拉 salad, 咖啡 coffee, 汉堡 hamburger, and the pizza, right? But how about the sounds that you are not familiar with, okay? Such as vegetables, 蔬菜, okay? Maybe in your language, you don't have the sound 蔬 and you don't have the sound 菜, okay? So for me, because when I was younger, I learned English. And English sounds, they were new to me too when I was young. So what I was trying to do when I learned a new language was that try to find a similar sound to the new sound, to match to the new sound. Okay, so if you learn a new word like vegetable, 蔬菜, okay, and you try to find in your language, in any languages that you know, with the same familiar sound 蔬 and 菜 to help you remember. Use some imaginations as you can, okay, to remember the sounds that you just learned in Chinese. And the second, I will use tons of repetition. Okay, so how do I find the repetition in my daily practice? First, listen to the MP3 as much as I can, okay? And then the second, if you are going on the street, you see vegetable, you say 蔬菜, okay? And use that in your daily life, okay? So, for example, you learn a bunch of vocabulary, some vocabulary, you learn 蔬菜, 咖啡, 沙拉, something like that. So, you could try to practice like this. I want to eat 蔬菜 and 沙拉. I don't want to eat 汉堡. Okay, so you mixed your language together, okay? So if you were an English native speaker, when you speak English, you put in a little bit of Chinese in your language, okay? This is the method that my friend's helping her boyfriend, which is foreigner. My friend is Taiwanese and her boyfriend is a foreigner. So her boyfriend is my student, and she used this to help her boyfriend to review the Chinese, and it kind of helped, you know. So this is my suggestion. And number 3 is there are a lot of apps, okay, in the market, so you can search some useful apps for you to practice your Chinese. And the question number 3, some of my students asked me how to recognize Chinese writing because it seems really difficult to remember. And to answer this, I need to say that I believe a lot of you have found some information on the internet about how to remember or how to recognize Chinese character, how to learn. And all of the answer says that Chinese characters are like pictures. Like for example, you can see my previous video, you know, I show some example of Chinese character. Yeah, it's very easy at the beginning to learn some picture-like character. Okay, the character that looks like a picture. So start with something easy. Okay, like fire, mountain, girl, mouth, those characters first, and then try to make some vocabularies. Okay, for example, you learn fire and you learn mountain. Fire, mountain means volcano, 火山. Okay, I mentioned that as well in my other video lessons, so you can take a look. And then the second is radical. Radical or parts, they are very important components for Chinese writing. Okay, so you have to know some radicals of Chinese. It gives you the meaning of Chinese, and it makes you remember the new words easier. That's all for this video. I hope my answer helped you with your confusion in learning Chinese. Well, I hope you keep up the good work as well, and see you next time. Keep up the good work. 再见.